different than them, right? So
Ah.
this is what I actually wanted to talk about, not to get sidetracked, man. We are, in my opinion, right? We love to, give people their flowers. We love to show love to people who deserve the love. But we're at our best when we're kicking people's backs in. And some of these people that we're going to discuss as far as the biggest disappointments of the 2024 NFL season deserve to get their back kicked in, man. So we're going to go with the least worthy of getting they're getting their back kicked in to the most deserving. So least to most. Starting with least, Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison had a good season by all standards. He had 800 yards. He had 57 receptions. He had 7 touchdown receptions. That, in most cases, is a standard, very solid receiver year, very solid year for a rookie receiver, no less. But he's on this list for one reason and one reason only. And it's part of the conversation that we just had, which is this wasn't supposed to be solid. You weren't supposed to be good. You weren't supposed to have a decent year. You were considered the best wide receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson got drafted in 2007. That means that you were supposed to be better than Jamar Chase. You were, and again, I'm not gonna go and name people just in hindsight. I'm just talking about prospects versus where they get drafted. So I'm not going to say Devontae Adams. I'm not going to say Justin Jefferson. Devontae Adams was a third-round pick. Justin Jefferson was the sixth wide receiver taken. We're not going to use hindsight and say, oh, how did you miss? You had 5 people ahead of him. So we're not talking about. I'm talking about the people that were the obvious best who turned out to be the obvious best. That means you're saying that he better than a Mike Williams. He was better than a AJ Green. Better than a Julio Jones. These are all people that were drafted in the top 10 since 2007. They all were dominant their first year. Every single one was dominant. In this age, if you are going to be that receiver, you're that receiver your rookie year.
You see it early. Yeah,
you see it very early.
Yeah, you see
in this
it early.
era with all the passing, with the advancements in offensive passing, the advancement with all the passes that you get, with all the opportunities that you get. Think about this. He had 57 receptions on 110
Targets.
What's the word I'm looking for? Targets. Dog. You supposed to get at least 70 of those. You getting the opportunities.
Damn, wait. He had 110 targets and only 57 receptions?
He had 57 receptions out of 110 targets. And again, I'm seeing people try to blame Kyler Murray, even though Trey McBride led all tight ends with receptions this year. It's either him or Brock Bowers. So how can he connect with Trey McBride but not with Marvin Harrison? How is it a problem? How is Kyler inaccurate? Don't know how to get him the ball. When it comes to everybody else, he's doing fine, but it comes to Marvin Harrison. Because Marvin Harrison ain't who y'all thought he was.
Nope.
And that's okay. That's okay. Nope. Another disappointment. Caleb Williams. Another person similar to Marvin Harrison. This is somebody who are they saying the best prospect, best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. Since Andrew Luck, dog. Nick Wright
easily
said
the
that
least
the
impressive
Bears
guy of the class
were
this
going
season.
to make the Super Bowl this year because they had Caleb Williams. Nick Wright had said that Caleb Williams was one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the world when he was at USC last year. That is what we're talking about right now. That is what we're talking about right now. So not only did he, and again, if you look at the stats, it seems like he had a good season. It seems like he had a standard quarterback rookie season. 19 touchdown passing to only 6 interceptions. But anybody with the eye, anybody who actually watched those games could tell you, bro, that shit didn't look good. It didn't look like functional football. It didn't look like football at a professional level. It didn't look like somebody who had any idea what he was actually doing on a down-to-down basis on that field. He had to be a disappointment. He had to be a disappointment. Coming into the season, he had this situation, rookie quarterback. How did that change that fast? Now they're trying to say the team is bad. No, got to stand on business. If he came into the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever had, he's obviously was disappointing.
I mean,
There's
her.
no
I mean,
ifs and buts about it. Go ahead.
eh, Herbie. But here's the thing. See, I hate when people say that shit. Like, oh man, the Bears are bad. Okay, then color me this. Color me this. What were the Commanders before Jaden Daniels got there? What were the Commanders? What were the Broncos offense? Like, yeah, they like listen, like the Broncos had a defense brewing since last year. Okay, I got you. But the Commanders, Herbie, yeah, Dan Quinn, he's the new coach, blah, 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 blah. But dude, a quarterback makes a difference. We all know that. We all know that. So if the same like you can't say, oh, Caleb Williams went to a bad team. Well, a franchise quarterback is supposed to come in and give you life. He's supposed to come in and give you life. And Caleb didn't really do that. He
At
had something that was
all.
good in the beginning, and then when it fell off, he couldn't help bring the ship along. And listen, I get it. The Bears, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they were a disaster this year.
Disaster.
But you know,
Disaster.
listen, Caleb is obviously going to get all the chances in the world to prove that he is who people think he is. But in terms of this season, I don't know how you could argue he's not a disappointment. Like,
100%, man. All right, so we're going to blitz through two more, and then we could hone in on the last two, specifically one team, right? So another disappointment, Jags, obviously. But the Jags are only disappointment to people that would ever believe in the Jags. That's like 5 people in the planet, bro. So are they really a disappointment, dog? At the end of the day, it's just the Jags at that point. The 49ers, man. The 49ers are a disappointment for a variety of reasons, but they are a microcosm of what happens when you do not, and I repeat, when you do not execute or take advantage of the situation. Their window may be closed. I don't know. But they had 2 opportunities to win 2 Super Bowls in the past 4 years. They had a double digit lead in both of those Super Bowls at one point, and they lost to both games. You can't do that, dog. Because when you
mm-mm,
lose those games and you have all these people that you pay, you're not going like it ain't sustainable to play this game, bruh. People
mm-mm.
get older. Those hits pile up. You know what they saying about Debo Samuel now? They say he just Kadarius Tony with a BBL, dog. Like that's how they talk about this dude, man. It was an all pro 2 years ago, man. Now they say he Kadarius Tony with a BBL. That's
Things
how
change
they
quick, man.
That's how
They
quick
change
this shit
quick.
changed in this NFL, man. All right, man. Bengals disappointment. If you got anything to say, I don't really got nothing to say about the Bengals, bro. I don't know how
Well,
much
this
you got to
this
say.
this is what I'll say. The Bengals are disappointing only because Herbie mainly. Well, it's not so much the entirety of the Bengals was disappointing. It's really their defense let them down so bad. You have to think about it, Herbie. Joe Burrow was the leading passer in terms of just being a quarterback this season. Jamar Chase was the leading receiver. He had what, like 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns. I think he had like over, I think he had like 120 receptions. I was looking at the stats earlier. I didn't keep them on me. But you have a wide receiver who you could argue could be in conversation for offensive player. You could argue because I know Joe Burrow is not going to win MVP. You could argue that Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase could win Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously that's going to Saquon, but they had seasons that were that good. You have two guys that you could have argued that you could make solid arguments for being Offensive Player of the Year, and you mean to tell me that you couldn't even make in an era where the NFL has added an extra playoff team, y'all couldn't make it when you have a top 4 quarterback and a top 3 receiver? Like, it just goes to show the incompetence of that organization. The Bengals have always been known to be a cheap organization, and I just wonder. I'm just wondering, Herbie. Listen, Joe Burrow's great, clearly, and the Bengals moving forward, as long as they put together something, they're gonna have some good seasons, bro. It's just eventually gonna happen. But you wonder, Herbie, when you consider the history of the Bengals franchise, of them being the ownership being super cheap, of them not ever really, of them just letting go of players, like you wonder how much of a window he really has, Herbie. Because I don't want Joe Burrow to end up like Dan Marino, man, to go to a Super Bowl and never go back. Because when Dan Marino went to a Super Bowl his second year in 1984, Dan Marino said when they lost, "Oh, we'll be back," and he never went. He never sniffed that shit. So, Bengals fans, I'm just treading caution. As great as Joe is, in the era of the great quarterbacks that you have, the Mahomes and Josh Allen and fucking Lamar Jackson, and I'm talking. You got up and coming guys. Some people will tell you Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels. Like in this era of just that's this golden age of quarterbacks. Listen, Herbie, it's only going to get harder to win a Super Bowl. It's only going to get harder. And it's hard enough to get past Mahomes, but you still got to get past the other guys too. But it's just the Bengals were a team you would have liked to see make the playoffs in this AFC wild card picture, but it's just disappointing, man.
Nah,
Disappointing as hell.
most def, man, most def, man. Um, and let's get to the last team, the team that we gotta really put our steel toe boots in, man. Yeah, they won the game today, but fuck that. They are the most disappointing team not only of this season, they might be the most disappointing team of this decade. This is almost as disappointing as that Philadelphia Eagles team when Vince Young was talking about, yo, bro, this like the all-star team, bro. I don't see how
It's
we
like the
could win the
dream
Super Bowl.
team. We're like
This
the
like the
dream
dream
team.
team. This is as disappointing as that Eagles team,
Oh.
bro. The 2024 Aaron Rodgers led New York stinking Jets are by far the most disappointing team of the 2024 season. It was a disaster after disaster. Rest in peace to Robert Sala's coaching career. Rest in peace to Garrett Wilson's progression as a wide receiver. Rest in peace to Brees Hall's any opportunity of growing as a running back. Rest in peace to the O line. Rest in peace to the defense. Rest in peace to the backup head coach who didn't even know what he was doing. Rest in peace to the players that are ran by Woody Johnson's two sons, allegedly. Rest in peace to the whole disaster that is upper state New York, man. You guys deserve the New York Jets, bro. They are such a reflection of what it is like to be somebody from New York, dog. You couldn't have had a better football team, man. So, Rod, the floor is yours. Put that size 13 Timberland to their fucking backs, man.
Listen, Herbie, listen. I tried to tell people before the season started, and I looked like a madman, Herbie. I told people, I said, man, when we talked about who was gonna give us the bad dope of the year, I said the Jets, man, and people were talking like, nah, man, Aaron Rodgers, that defense, he has Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, and you know what it amounted to, Herbie? You know what all that amounted to? 5-12. 5-12. That's all they got, Herbie. And I love it, bro. And here's a you want to know what makes it even sicker, Herbie? You could make the argument, like almost like no question, that Aaron Rodgers, despite how awful the season the Jets had in entirety was, he had one of the best statistical seasons a Jets quarterback has ever had, in the midst of them having an awful dumpster fire level season. Yeah, we lost to them, but the Broncos ended our season more than anything, Herbie, because if we would have beat them, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So I won't even give Jets fans that satisfaction. Fuck the Jets. All right? Fuck them. I love it. And now,
Uh,
Herbie, here's the best part. You get rid of Aaron Rodgers. You
uh,
failed when you drafted Zach Wilson. Who's
uh,
next now? Who's gonna save you guys now?
uh, Bruh, if
Who?
listen, man, listen. If one of the six greatest quarterbacks couldn't save the Jets, nobody can. And when I say six greatest quarterbacks, I don't mean of this decade. I don't mean currently in the NFL right now. I mean all time. any era. He is one of the six greatest people to ever throw a football professionally. He
Easy.
couldn't save the Jets. The Jets thought they were getting Tom Brady. They thought they were getting a Super Bowl. No.
They thought they were
It's
getting
more
paid.
than they thought they were getting Peyton Manning. They thought they were getting their Denver Broncos Peyton Manning. No. Mm.
No. No,
You got
Jets.
Aaron Rodgers. You got the guy that it makes sense why he only has one Super Bowl despite all the talent that he has. You got the guy that was able to alienate those around him. You got the guy, the only person that Greg Jennings hates in his life. Do you know how much you have to be, how much of an a-hole or just an insufferable person you have to be for Greg Jennings to hate you? The only people that like Aaron Rodgers is Devontae Adams and maybe his mama at times. And he doesn't even talk to
And
his
James
parents.
Jones. James
And
Jones,
James
man. I'm not.
Jones.
Oh my God. When I watch the facility from time to time, and if they bring up, bro, this season, the amount of times that he was tapping Aaron Rodgers on the ass, as bad
Listen,
as the
man.
season. Oh,
Listen. I'm not trying to make this. There's no way to make this joke without it having the social and the social political tones behind it. I promise you, that's not what I'm trying to make this joke. I'm just talking about it how it looks visually. But whenever I see James Jones willing to die for Aaron Rodgers dying on that hill, it just reminds me of the meme from Django, bro, when Samuel Jackson is holding Leonardo's dead body, bro, saying no. No. Guys, I'm not trying to say James Jones is an Uncle Tom. I'm not trying to say
nah.
he's a white man bootleaker. I'm not trying to say that at all. It's going to look that way. I'm just saying that man loves him some Aaron Rodgers,
He
man.
loves
He
Aaron. He loves
he will
Aaron, man.
dive in traffic, move in traffic for Aaron Rodgers, man. That's
That's
all
real
I'm
love
saying.
right there, man. That's
That's
real
real
love,
love,
man.
man. That's 90s
Real
love,
love.
man. Right there, dog.
Oh man.
But no, dude, it's it's even worse. Like, this is what makes it so funny, and I'm so enjoyable and so lovable and just so funny, is that it went exactly how Aaron Rodgers. It was a match made in heaven of dysfunction, right? Like, you had one of when that article came out about the dysfunction in regards to the Jets and how allegedly Woody Johnson didn't want Jerry Jeudy because his Madden rating was not good enough, which has since been debunked. But the bigger issue is that people believed it, whether it was true or not. It was believable. And
That's
that's
how
the
fucked up their
problem.
organization is,
That's how
dog.
bad your organization is. People automatically didn't scoff at the notion. That's bad enough. That's even worse. That your 14-year-old and 18-year-old son have real power and real sway over roster decisions.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Herbie, I work in the granite business, okay? Herbie, if I walked into a shop with the experience that I have and I see there's an owner there and there's his 14-year-old son and his 18-year-old son are like telling guys what to do. And it's one thing if he taught them since they were like 5 years old and they're fucking geniuses. That's
Mm-hmm.
different, I guess. That's
That's
different.
different.
But if they're just like your kids and they're just, you just have them around because you don't want them getting in trouble, whatever the fuck the case is, and they're the ones making decisions, Herbie, I'm out of there quick, man. I'm out of there quick. I'm out of there quick. And I know in football, you don't really have that option. You sign contracts, you got to be there for a certain amount of time. I get it. But if I seen that in my work field, I'm out of there quick. Because what the hell is that? Like, what is that? Like, how does that even happen? You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
Like, how?
god.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
god,
Oh
bro.
my God.
Oh
Oh,
shit. I
only
done
Herbie. Only the Jets, Herbie.
only the Jets,
Only the
dog.
Jets, dog.
Oh shit, bro. I'm laughing so hard I done fucked my thing up, bro. Hold on, dog. Guys, I'm sorry, man. My head is too big for y'all to see my real head, bro. But whatever. Now we just thugging it out like this, bro. Fuck it. Fuck it. We just thugging it out, man. This has been a disaster. Like, this has been an utter disaster, dog. All right, man. Give me 1 second. Let me go switch hats real quick, man. So you filibuster for the homie. and
Got you,
kick them
man.
back in some more, bro.
Kick the back and some more. Listen, y'all. I can never get enough talking about the Jets, man. And this is the segment where we're talking about the biggest disappointments. And I think we got to most of them, right? But let me tell y'all something, man. And I know I spoke about this in terms of the Dolphins. So, listen, the Jets are a division rival. They're my personal most hated division rival. I'm sure every football fan, every diehard football fan, you don't like your division rivals, but there's always that particular one. And I know Dolphin fans who hate the Patriots more or they hate the Bills more, which is rare actually. Like most of the Dolphin fans I know, they're like me. They can't stand the Jets. Like they'd rather see anybody else win but them. But Herbie,
It's always
I
funny, like
can't get enough of it, man. I can't get
it's
enough of it,
always
man.
funny, like when you have like division and who hates the division rival more. Like depending on how what stage you became a fan. Like I know if
Yeah.
you were an old head Cowboys fan, nobody you will never hate nobody than the Redskins. Me, my beef was the Giants. I know a lot of people who can't stand the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny how like
The old head Dolphin fans I've met, the Bill, they've hated the Bill. Even like when the Bills were bad, I used to be like, damn, why do you hate the Bills so much? And they would look at me and be like, it was them. They were in our way. They were in Dan Marino's way. And they did end us. They did finish our season in a lot of playoff years in the '90s, Herbie. So I could understand that hatred, bro. If I was witnessing that myself, like if the Dolphins had a great quarterback during the Brady era and we just couldn't get past them, I would feel that pain, I guess. And then you would think that I would hate the Patriots more because of how they dominated, but it didn't
nah,
matter, Herbie,
yeah,
because we
yeah.
sucked. We sucked
Yeah,
along with
for
the
sure.
Jets and the Bills. So fuck it.
Fuck
So
it.
fuck it.
All right. Let's go ahead